Hello everybody and welcome to Clydebridge Station. Now I've been shopping at Model Rail Scotland, which was held just recently in Glasgow at the Scottish Event Campus, and I've bought quite a few things. You'll see more of them in a later video. But this video that I'm going to be doing, it's not going to be filmed in a day, it's going to be filmed over 2 or 3 days, and this is something that I've recently seen. I first come across it in the January 2020 issue of British Railway Modelling, and it's a Gaugemaster Fordhampton Supermarket. The product code is Golf Michael 419. And in this article here that Phil Parker wrote for BRM magazine, and he took the photos as well, he's actually shown you how to build it, and he's also included a petrol station, which is a separate purchase. Now I've not bought the petrol station, I don't have room for it, but I'm going to be building this structure here. A couple of things to point out to you with it: it's not going to be the full size that you see here. The reason for that is I don't have the space for it where it's going to go, and that location is going to be, as you look at the layout, when you come in at the opposite end from where the station is, there's a wooden Scotmid supermarket that I made. It's low relief. This is going to be the replacement for it. You'll also notice that it's branded with Aldi. Now these are separate stickers that are supplied with it. I'm not going to be branding it Aldi, I'm going to be branding it Scotmid Co-op, as is the previous one. I must just point out to you as well though, this was actually manufactured in Germany, and that explains why it's got Aldi Süd on it. Aldi Southern or Aldi South. In the UK and the Republic of Ireland, that wouldn't be actually correct, Aldi Süd, it would just be Aldi, so you may want to just get a little pen and block out the Süd on it if you so wish. Very important point that. With this being low relief, as I'm going to make it, it'll probably just be this and these 2 panels here that'll do, which means I'm going to have to end up cutting the roof. That means that a lot of it is not going to get used, but as I say, this it looks better than what I went and made, and that's why I went and got it. It's for sale on the Gaugemaster website, and if you go into Gaugemaster, you can get, you'll be able to see this. So what I'm going to do is put the camera down and we'll get it opened up in here and we'll have a look at what we've got. Okay, so we've opened up the packet and we'll see what we've got here. Supermarket trolleys, which actually is quite useful. Like some baskets as well, or some sort of fencing, but the instructions will tell me that, but that's quite good. This is the bit that I'll be needing in the main as well, and that there is the scenic section, which is actually self-adhesive, by the way. We've got other bits here as well. Trying to look at it from the photograph, I'm not sure exactly what that is. These are the Aldi signs, and which I don't need, but if you actually see there's actually a couple of no entry signs that will need to go in the door, and we've got little stickers here for products, so we'll probably need them. The instructions, it says liquid cement and plastic bottle with cannula for very fine dosage, so I've got it in a tube. We'll see how that goes though. That's how it looks, and like that. You'll notice also there's a wee change to the specification. There's a little A there, that'll have to be broken off and replaced with something, because obviously that A is the Aldi logo, but if you look on the photo here, it's actually a window there, so you have to keep an eye out for that. And then we delve deep into the bowels of it. So all the bits come nicely finished. you see we've got the roof sections here, and as I say, I'm going to be cutting some of the roof panels back, so I won't need them all. A very important thing here that Phil mentioned in his article as well, and it's quite important, this is a good little tip. When you're building these, and it's point number 1 here, there's a lot of stuff here, plastic parts, but he says they're attached to the numbered sprues and each component has its own number. So identifying part 1/5 is easy. Sprue 1 part 5. This is sprue 6, for instance. You see here. So there's quite a lot to do with it. There's part 5B, for instance, as well. And there's all sorts of things in there. This is sprue 5. We'll just put that back down there a minute. Get all this back in. And this is obviously all the glass components as well, so it's going to look really good. Lots of good stuff in this one. So I'll just put that all in there. Now, I'm very fortunate that I've got the article there to be able to show you all of this, but before you do get started, a couple of important tips. Make sure you read the instructions carefully, and Phil gave another tip here: don't remove anything until you're ready to use it. So very important that as well. What we'll do now is we'll get this down to the shed, and rather than build it in the model railway shed, we'll go into another shed and build it there where I've got a bit more space to be able to work with, and then once it's done we'll move it into where it's going to go in the model railway layout. So we're down here in the shed now. That's where it's going to go. It will replace that Scotmid frontage that I made there. And this is the instructions here. So what I'm going to do now is build the front bit of it here first of all. It'll look like that there. And this part here with the A on it, I'm just going to try and cut that out so it won't be there. Hopefully it shouldn't affect the structure too much. So I'll have a go at building this front bit, and then after that I'll be able to take it from there where I'm going to go. And it looks like the trolley bay's there, so quite a bit to be getting on with. Well, this is where we've got up to now. It's been a few days between the two shots, that previous one and this one, because I run out of glue, so I've got glue now to do the job, plastic glue. It isn't sitting quite right, as you could see there at the end. That's part of my own doing, because I didn't get this bit on right here, so I've sort of moved across a bit. Now, when I was building this, I have to confess a couple of things did go wrong. When I was cutting this off the sprue, part of it broke at the bottom. You can't see it though. It'd be very hard to tell. That is actually just water that's leaked in out of the roof there, which is mentioned in a previous video. The other thing that happened was, you'll see I've put an emergency exit door there. It's meant to be one of these panels, but when I was actually cutting out the holder for the glazing, it broke off and flew away somewhere. But luckily this was spare, it had been built up, but I didn't need it, so I've utilised that instead. So this is the size it is now going to be, and obviously I'll just say it'll sit over there. So what I'm now going to do is carry on and get the next bits done, see what it is that I'm going to have to use. I will have to end up cutting the roof. There is actually an apex that's to go on the top here. So I'll go and get that next bit done, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, so that's the roof done. I've adapted it to fit the supermarket building. What I now need to do is get this onto here. Sorry, that's my neighbour with his dogs. Get this onto here, and once I've got that done, we'll just refer back to instructions here. I've got some decals that I need to put on if I so wish, and looking at them, where the hell are they? Ah, here we are. Got a couple of self-adhesive ones that I could stick on there, and I'll get them on. Then there's other things that need to go on as well. I'm not going to bother with some of them though, but I'll get them on and get the roof on. And then there's this little bit here that I need to try and make up that goes in there, and then what should happen is that should then more or less be the building complete. There's bits here that I don't need, and there's this sign here to put a Scotmid sign, a co-op sign on. Oh, that would have been the Aldi sign, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to position that here. That's where the co-op sign will go, and the Scotmid sign will go here. That'll be how I'm going to do it. Although, having said that, there's nothing wrong with me putting the co-op sign there and Scotmid and another co-op sign there, so I may well just do that. Anyway, I'd better crack on and then we'll get the next bit done. Well, we're nearly there with it. Now, a couple other things that you'll notice as well that I've done as well as putting the roof on. The old Scotmid decal signage, sorry, that was on the old entrance to the original wooden supermarket I built, I've cut that off and stuck it on here. And this little bit here would have been 90 degrees that way, and it would have had an Aldi sticker. I've rescued this, if I can get the damn thing around, there we go, a co-op, the co-op logo, and what I'll do is I'll stick that onto there once the glue is dried, and then it'll be ready to go over to that bit over there. You can see I've got it cleared away. I think that'll be a much better thing to put in there. It's not so clumsy looking, and this is actually the first time I've ever built a kit before. So I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, and the fact I've had to adapt it to fit made the job even harder. But anyway, there we are. So what I'll do is I'll get the camera turned off now, and I've got a couple other things that I need to do, and then we'll get this into position. And there we have it. That's the completed Scotmid supermarket now with all its signage on in position. It's not fully complete because I'm building a trolley bay that's supplied with it as well, and you get these little trolleys too. So I'm building that, so you'll actually see that in the February update. What I'll also be doing for the February update is getting this bit of balsa replaced with a shorter bit of balsa. It is a bit thicker, however, so it means I'll have one continuous bit going across there, and then to complete the supermarket scene will be some non-working lights. There's one there I've already put in position. That'll have to be, the light will have to be glued into position. Excuse me. And then I've got bollards and fencing that I'll have to put in and around there. And once I've got that done, that'll be the supermarket area complete. And I've got some shoppers that'll do for the street scene, and will also do for the supermarket as well. There's actually a couple there with their shopping bags. So that's what's going to happen next. But the supermarket building itself is now more or less complete. If you do wish to purchase this, the item is on the Gaugemaster website, and if you put Gaugemaster into your internet search engine, you'll be able to find it. And once you're on the Gaugemaster website, it's Fordhampton Supermarket, and if you look for that, and as I say, it will come up with it will be supplied with Aldi signage, but I've obviously adapted it. If you're building it a full size one though, you don't have to necessarily restrict yourself to it being a supermarket. On the instructions, it does actually show you that the full roof section is a bit that goes out onto the right hand side, and that's like a fire exit. But if you were to get some fencing made up could be the 10 Commandments chain link fencing, for instance. You could actually have that going around and make it into a garden centre. So you could have a branch of B&Q, Focus, Do It All, Home Base, or if it's a Wix, you could actually make it into an outdoor project centre. The building's also ideal to be a B&M Bargains or a B&M Home Store. The latter actually, some of their branches, Bathgate's one of them, and I believe Livingston's another, have outdoor garden centres as well. It could even be a Home Bargains if you so wish. And if you're looking as well, I've also got a Halfords just there. You could brand it as Halfords. Although it's marketed as a Fordhampton supermarket, you don't have to have it as a supermarket. Your options are quite wide. So that's the end of this video. You'll see the completed trolley bay, all being well, in the February 2020 update, when I'll show you some of the other stuff I've got at Model Rail Scotland 2020. I hope this video though has given you an idea for your layout. Even if you haven't got the space for the full size one, I sincerely hope that you can actually make use of a low relief one that like what I've managed to convert mine to. So, in the meantime, thank you very much indeed for watching, and please enjoy your layouts. Bye bye for now.